You're listening to IRN, the Inception Radio Network, Chicago, Illinois.
Welcome to Center of Light Radio with spiritual teacher, intuitive, musician, composer, and best-selling author of The Divine Principle, Anchoring Heaven on Earth, your host, Keith Anthony Blanchard.
Center of Light Radio, Center of Divine Unfoldment and Reinforcement. Oh, I love that phrase. I've been using it for a long time. It's just so me and everything I'm about. Strap in all ye spiritual astral knots as we launch for inner space. Once again, I want to announce that Swamiji Viswayogi, God realized man, he is plugged into the cosmic dialogue. He is plugged into cosmic consciousness. He is the embodiment of cosmic consciousness. He's going to be here in August. I believe it's the 14th or whatever Monday that is in that particular part of August, the closest date to that. I think it's the 14th. He's going to be here, and we're going to be discussing what's going on in the world. What do we need to do? You know, we have many ideas, but we're going to ask God. I'm going to ask God literally, and you can bet that I'm going to take some time and do lots of meditation and be very, very particular about the questions I am going to ask. I'm going to use this opportunity with this self-realized divine man to find out where we are as a human species and what can we do in the sense of urgency, oh man, to get rid of some of this stuff that's just been happening. You know, this is a center of light. I'll never go into the dark stuff. So if I ever do talk about that stuff, know that it's to create an awareness perspective. An awareness perspective. It's not about bringing up the energy and dwelling on it. It's about bringing up the situation so it can be brought to light. So we can all make changes accordingly and have things level out. I'm so ready for things to level out. You know, it's always been a learning of mine that when the pot gets shaken, things begin to move. Things get a little funky. Things get a little crazy, to use a word. But it's all for the good. It's, you know, the pot has to be stirred so we can scoop out the bad, quote, stuff and be left with all the goodies. All right, let's get down to some stuff here. Okay, also, Nucleus 8 has not yet confirmed my alien-human hybrid friend who is 4,735 plus years old. Alien-human hybrid, Nucleus 8, has not yet confirmed that he is going to be on the show, but knowing Nucleus, he will. Also, the other night, and this is going to set up the show really nicely, my guest today is Vanessa Lamorte. The other night, when I get out and about in a cosmic sense during sleep states of consciousness, I become very aware of many dimensions. I become very aware of being on many, many different ships, even hanging out with Nucleus 8. Even hanging out with the Clarions and the Pleiadians, all that. But the other night, I find myself in a ship, and I was so conscious. I was just beside myself. I was like, whoa. I said, dude, I can't begin to express to you how grateful I am, because as conscious as I have always been, I have never been this full-blown conscious. It's like I'm even more so than I am talking to you on this radio right now. I was truly that conscious. And so we're going to be getting into a lot of the cosmic energies during the show, and I'm so looking forward to that. Make sure you go to Center of Light Radio website. There you'll find the archives of all my shows. You can jump seat from Center of Light radio website to Keith Anthony Blanchard. You can find all my creations, all my books, my movie, Do What You Love, A Path to Passionate Living, empowering you, yes, you, with the tools you need so that you can create the life that you are here to do, your best life, your passionate life. When you live in passion, the energy of passion and creativity, the world becomes consumed with your passion, your love, and your bliss. And that makes many, many changes begin to happen. Also, at keithanthonyblanchard.com, you can find my Anchoring Heaven on Earth audio meditation. Highly suggested using headphones. There's a lot of stereo imaging happening. Things move from left to right, some subliminals. Very well done. It'll help you create that space, to shift into that space that exists within all of us, where it's a system of least effort. You don't have to go out and struggle for your life. You can create from this particular place, but also the serenity that will happen. Being plugged into the cosmic dialogue just takes miles off of your spiritual journey homeward. Okay, and also make sure that you, let's see, notes, always about notes. And of course, I got a fan blowing, so my notes are just scattered on the floor. Let me get my placement here. Oh, yeah, to call into the show live, you dial 888-919-2355. That's 888-919-2355. Remember, if you're not at home by your computer and you want to hear your favorite show, you can go to the App Store on your phone and download the Inception Radio Network app for free. Everything is right there at your fingertips. Chat room, listen, live link, news, podcasts, much, much more. There are many, many, many ways to connect to Center of Light Radio and the Inception Radio Network for sure. Now, it is time to get down to Center of Light Radio business. On my show today, my guest is Vanessa Lamorte, and we will be discussing the star people and cosmic updates. And I think we're also going to talk a little bit about her light language that she dabbles with. I guess we can call it that. Vanessa says, I am a visionary, ancient wisdom's teacher, and healer, Reiki Master, musician, and an interdimensional channeler. I hold a Master of Arts in Transpersonal Psychology. My work with sound healing and light language augments my healing practice and adds depth to my teaching style. The Lyran-Sirian Council, a galactic collective, or a benevolent group of star beings that aid my professional work and bring new updates and insights. My wish is to support, inspire, and guide you in reclaiming your star light. You can find Vanessa's website at www.vanessalamorte. That's VANESSALAMORTE.com. VanessaLamorte.com. Welcome to the Center of Light, Vanessa.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you back and talk to you again on my show.
You as well. We have good conversations.
Yeah, it's always fun. Vanessa, this is a new platform for me. And so we have a different listening audience. Would you tell me again, refresh my mind, but also enlighten our listening audience how this all started for you? Not only your schooling, but also just getting on the spiritual path and more so plugging into cosmic energies.
Absolutely. I'm a lifelong contactee. I'll put it that way. I wouldn't say abductee because all of my cosmic experiences have been very benevolent. So when I was around 4 years old, that's my earliest recollection. I remember being visited by Andromedan people, and they would take me to see the moonlight in my house. They'd open the windows and we'd just gaze at the moon. One time my parents found me on the sidewalk and I remember holding the hand of my guide, and we were just gazing at the moon. And I look at that as, early training for my mission now. So throughout my life, I've had experiences like that and other paranormal experiences working with the spirit realm and the elementals like fairies and unicorns and all kinds of things. So it's been a lifelong journey, both on Earth and being, able to talk to things beyond the realms and the dimensions. I studied psychology in my undergrad because I was very interested in human behavior and really getting to understand consciousness and the psyche because of my experiences, really. And then I chose to do my master's in transpersonal psychology because it was a little bit more refined, a little bit more focused. Transpersonal psychology, it really is spiritual psychology or the study of consciousness. And we focused a lot on how to get to know the self and how to have a spiritual practice and a spiritual life and how to create meaning for ourselves. So comprehensively, that's me. And then now professionally, I'm blending everything. So I work mostly with people who have experiences with star beings, and I use my channeling abilities to help them figure out who's contacting them, why, life purpose, mission, anything really that comes up for them. But it's usually guidance for starseeds and people who have contact experiences. But I also do work with a large number of people who haven't had those kinds of experiences and are just looking to find themselves and embark on their own self-discovery. So that's my professional work. And then, of course, there's light language, and we'll talk about that in depth little later in the show here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When you were talking about the Andromedans and you were having an experience, did I understand you right to say that you were physically there, or were you there in spirit?
I was physically there, yeah. I was physically on Earth, and they were physically in my house. We'll put it that way.
I see. I thought you had shifted to someplace with them. Understood. While I'm thinking about it, we're going to be talking about light language whenever it unfolds. But if you would, listening audience, go to centeroflightradio.com in this moment, if you have that ability. Centeroflightradio.com. Click on upcoming guest, and you're going to see a beautiful star being, my guest today, Vanessa Lamorte. You're going to see her picture. Click on that picture. When you click on that picture, it's going to take you to a web page, and you're going to see thumbnail size images of light language. But also know that when you click on those thumbnails, they're going to expand into full size, and we're going to start talking about, well, let's do it now. Let me go there with you. Vanessa, ever since I've been knowing you in the brief time, I've just been fascinated, truly fascinated with this light language that you do. I've heard you speak it. Very impressive. Not that you are trying to prove anything, or not that I needed you to prove it to me. It's impressive in the sense that your cadences are amazing. The depth are amazing. Your conviction of what you're doing is amazing. It's all just truly, really solid for me. Vanessa, are you at the website with me at this point?
I am, yes.
Okay, I'm looking at this first image.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me the overview of what it is that we're looking at? Is this a message? Is this pictures, or is it just an encrypted? I mean, what is it? What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so first let's define light language. So light language itself is a universal, heart-centered communication system, and we can call it both cosmic star language as well as angelic language. I actually wrote my master's thesis on light language, so it's, there's a wealth of information in my brain here, just, through history with light language. Some may know light language as glossolalia, or speaking in tongues, and or
Yes.
xenolalia. So the difference there is that glossolalia is the idea that we're involuntarily and or voluntarily speaking a language that is on Earth, but is not our native tongue. So maybe, your native tongue is English, but you're speaking Hebrew, or bits of Hebrew, or maybe it's mixed, could be Hebrew, Greek, and bounce all around. Xenolalia is actually, xeno means alien. So xenolalia is when we're speaking a language unbeknownst to Earth, not on Earth. So it could be a cosmic star language, or an angelic language. What you're seeing here, viewers and Keith, the symbols are the written versions of spoken light language. The light language is not a cognitive language. So it's always very interesting when we get into each specific character. People want to know what each symbol means, and each symbol has so much meaning, a depth of meaning.
Yeah.
It's its own archetype, because it's accessing beyond our normal 3D cognitive logical brain, so.
Let me ask you this real quick, and I don't mean to interrupt, but this, for example, not only this, but all these different images that we're going to be looking at here, this is not necessarily a language from a particular civilization. This is actually a default language that beings of higher consciousness are able to use to communicate. Would that be true?
Right. I would say that's true, because there are many, I would say, dialects of light language. Sometimes, and it's my specialty to understand, and I understand the energy signatures behind spoken languages and written codes. So sometimes coding and languages come from Sirius, the star system, or Lyra. They have, these characteristic sounds and characteristic looking inscriptions. Though, yes, I would say that it is a completely universal language. So if I were to speak, let's say, for example, if I were to speak in a cosmic language, because it is a higher dimensional, higher frequency, heart-centered language, to, let's say, an angel, the angel would 100% understand the message I was trying to convey, because it is a universal language.
Is this a particular message, this first one that we're looking at?
Those are actually my energy codes. That's my energy signature put into image. So I did, play with it a little bit in a photo editing. It wasn't Photoshop; it was a different one, but like a photo editing app is what I was going to say. So with the star background, but each inscription there is a symbol that represents an aspect of myself. That's why I said it's accessing many, many meanings at once. So that first one is my energy signature, or my star name, or however you want to put that, but it's my essence.
It's your autograph.
Yeah.
Lovely. Let's move on to number 2. I'm blowing this thing up. Very crop circle-like, very mandala-like. And even, there's so much balance in there. Is this a particular message? What does this one entail?
Thank you. I actually channeled this one from the council, the Lyran-Sirian Council, back in March, or late March or early April. I can't remember the exact date, but we were having a lot of solar flare activity. So exactly what you said, balancing. This code was for helping others to recalibrate their own energy fields, to manage those harsh energies, or the sensitivities that they might be experiencing, as well as, I would call it a galactic key, because it really spins. It spins both clockwise and counterclockwise to adjust the frequencies. And I see these things holographically, multidimensionally, and then I just put them into 2D as best I can. So this one is actually, helping people do that on a personal level, as well as coding for grid work. So it was able to anchor starlight and divine pure love into different grid points, so that we could work with Gaia as well. Because as much as we we're on our own journeys and doing our self work, we're also doing it for the planet and for the greater humanity and the universe. So it was both.
Not only your description, but also in appearance, it's very Stargate-like. It's very portal-like, and also followed by the one just below it. Looking at it, this one seems somewhat similar, but this one has more of an actual, like there's an event horizon and it's pulling you in. I can definitely see the kaleidoscope, the spinning of this one. What is this one in particular?
Absolutely, yes. This middle one here was actually a client's. So this is, in an example of what one of my sessions actually looks like. This is I call it a nebula reading. And I, write the codes that come through from spirit guides and the council. And then it's kind of like a galactic prescription, if you will. And then I tell about what it is. So, and what came through and how to shift. So this one was specifically for, the higher heart, the cosmic higher heart, and anahata, the regular heart chakra. Since we have both the green, the emeralds colors, the frequencies there, and the pink, and helping to express from those centers. So we have the blue there that really talks to the throat chakra and expression, but basically exactly what you said. It's kind of like a stargate. We're looking into the chakra, we're looking into the portal and how to access that there. So this was, example of how star codes can help to work with the energy field and how we can recalibrate and heal and release congestion in the chakras.
It definitely looks very galaxy-like for sure. I didn't think of it, and I thank you for enlightening me. I thought the colors that you chose were, you had a lot of markers around. You just so happened to grab that one, but you did this on purpose. There is an intention here that you grab certain colors here because certain colors have certain vibrational frequencies and properties that express the idea of being there.
Right.
More to the point. So
color therapy
right.
and color frequency is really, really important in this work because the light codes hold so much information just in the color. They each resonate with a different ray of consciousness and a different chakra. And, it has a multitude of different meanings. I don't choose the colors. I just listen to the channeling. I listen to the guides and what they want for my clients and for myself and so on. So it's very different. It is a creative expression in a way, because it's accessing that same part of the psyche, same part of the brain. But I'm not really choosing what I'd like to put in there. I'm really listening typically to the beings, at least for client sessions. When I'm doing it for myself, there's a little bit more control. But
or let me ask you this: are you receiving it? Does it feel to you that you're receiving it and you're mimicking what you're seeing inside, or is the energy moving through you and doing it, and you're on idle?
Both comprehensively. So yes, I'm seeing it in my third eye, but then I'm also feeling all of the energy entering through my upper chakras and then moving through my hands and my hand chakras as the codes come through. So it's really
makes sense.
Yeah, soul star, crown, third eye, hand chakra, heart chakra. Like that's just kind of like the flow that I feel that really works when the written codes are coming through.
Very awesome. Let's move to the next one. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, the fourth one in the lot. And this is the purple, pink, and white one. Now to me, I'm doing my best. I want to go before you so I can validate you or see how good I am at light language myself. This one looks like a message to me, like something you would see on social media, Facebook, like someone saying, keep calm and spread the light or whatever the message. This one looks like an actual billboard message, like it's conveying an idea. Yes, no?
Awesome. Yes. So actually, I used this symbol or these symbols for my light language course. The guides were like, you need to really bring in the community. So this was, I'm just laughing because it's like, wow, you're on point. And everyone listening, everyone can speak light language, write light language. It's just about accessing that part of yourself. So this isn't like a special capability. I'm not special. This is just, I access that part of myself and it came out. So you can do it too. And I teach that in my courses. But this one specifically was about bringing the community together to access their own light language and to access their own inner frequencies there and their inner bliss. So just by looking at these images, you're receiving the coding for those purposes. So I'm just astounded that you knew. It's awesome.
That's a picture you would find in the cosmic Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving down to the next image, we have one to me that appears to be very Cetacean-like. Cetacean meaning whales, dolphins, aqua, blue water, Caribbean Help me.
Exactly. This actually came from the Syrian Mer people. So on Sirius, we have 4 main groups. We have humanoids. We have the Syrian elves, kind of like Lord of the Rings elves. We have the Mer people, like mermaids. And then we have creatures like, and animals like the dolphins and the whales. So you're 100% on point again.
Wow.
So from Sirius B.
Do you need a partner in business?
See, it's just showing that everyone is psychic. You can do it. It also came from the cetaceans, which are the dolphins and the whales. So this actually was a set of codes that I created when I channeled 3 grid points for the ocean. There are 3 ocean grid points. And the council wanted me to ask people who were called to do the mission with me to just anchor in love and light, to work with the waters, the bodies of water on this planet. So basically this coding here was specifically for water healing and just bringing in those frequencies for the planet.
And finally, the last one I saw floating around the social media stream today. This one looks very hieroglyphic to me, very Egyptian-like.
Mm-hmm. I can feel that as well with this one. This is a huge painting that I actually
it feels very tablet-like.
Yeah,
very, yes.
Exactly.
Papyrus-like. Mm-hmm.
It's 2 feet wide by 4 feet tall. It says a painting I actually did for my home. So it's sitting in my living room because I wanted to, so basically you can code for light language. So we can put intention in the work, and then we can also channel the works. And sometimes it's a combination of both. So this one definitely is a combination of both what the council and my guides wanted and what I wanted. So I used the background color to bring in the watery aspect, the intuition, calming, just all of the very tranquil frequencies. And then I used gold. So it kind of appears yellow here, but it's actually a very shimmery gold for the coding, because the first symbols I ever actually saw in my mind's eye were gold. So there's coding here from Lyra, Sirius, Andromeda, Pegasus, which is a constellation, and Camelopardalis. Did I cover them all? Yes. So it's me. So in a lot of ways, this is me. It was channeled for my house and, my partner and I that live here. When he looked at it, he was like, whoa, that's really big. But it's just pushing through all this starlight. And I definitely can feel the tablet, because what came up for me was the emerald tablet, channeled by Thoth or created by Thoth. So we've got music of spheres, fractality. We have bee medicine, just like dimensional gatekeepers. And there's just in the coding here. So there's a lot in the coding, and it's just speaking to all of my personal downloads and missions that are going on in my life right now. So I'm excited to see what happens with it, because I'm still digesting it. It's very new. It came in last night, so we'll see.
The picture behind your light language images of the person lying on the galaxy. When I was surfing the web to create this page, to drop your images there, I saw that and immediately felt like you being created by galactic energy. It just so felt like you. We're about to be at the bottom of the hour, and I do want to get onto the other subjects, which is the star people as well as cosmic updates. Would you give us a sample of your light language, and go as long as you like?
Sure. So first,
a message that we need, a message that might impart something to us from a higher reality that we need to hear.
Absolutely. So just bring your awareness into your heart space before we start, just to open the heart so you can fully receive the coding. Take a deep breath. Ora vuhiri mira, suri kira, eududu ira tusho so hemira. Ulodu duri to revesho somni kira to lato rebebum rato ivi mira. Umbire, usahe ihire korati vrutivi undrosho so miri, allatura piambora peso uzosi emiki, allere, umanana itre vosho sahemiki tre umbra. Izole truvi kitra, I morati umbotosho sahim di kitra, ile umbora tudivi umze shosahiri kiara. the main message with this, the coding here, was directly going to the heart chakra, is really helping you to remember your own bliss and your authenticity, and to be a clear mirror for yourself and for others. Because when we hold our soul, we hold our potency, we hold our frequencies in our body with so much integrity, we're able to be a clear mirrors for both ourselves and for others, so that they too can be in their bliss and in their authenticity. So this is very much so about finding yourself and being in your light and in your purpose, and helping others and encouraging others to do that as well.
Amazing. I'm sitting here taking that in, and
Thank
it's like I like you said, I can feel it. It makes sense to me. It's very appealing to listen to with the ears, but it's more delicious because it stimulates the heart. I can truly feel your connection and my connection to and with you as you were speaking this particular language. It was very, very cool. It's almost like a soul massage.
Absolutely. I can agree with that. And that came from Sirius. So just to give you, well, it's Lyra and Sirius. I'm serious.
Vanessa, at the bottom of the hour, would you please give out your contact information so the Center of Light listening audience could find more about you and your delicious work?
Absolutely. Okay. So first, my website is www.vanessalamorte.com. And you can find me on Instagram. I post a lot on Instagram because of the images and all of my star writing. So my Instagram is at Vanessa Lamorte. You can also find me on Facebook, just via my name, or through Keith's friend list. But I'd like to get to the cosmic updates. Are we ready?
I am. I affirm.
Okay, awesome. So talking with the Lyran-Sirian Council this morning, they were very, very adamant about me sharing that from now, so going into July until about mid-September, is a very, very, I think the best word is concentrated and potent time for everyone energetically. So if you've noticed, we've had a lot of increased solar activity because there's a lot of codes and energy coming from the central sun. And when the solar activity comes in, it's really important to be hyper aware of yourself and others, because sometimes it can be very aggravating, or it can be very triggering, because the solar energy is coming in. It's just really toasting a lot of the junk DNA and the frequencies in the body that no longer serve your highest good. So being very aware of yourself and how you may be responding versus maybe reacting to others is important. They also really wanted to mention that there's going to be a lot of evaluation of values and belief systems, and encouraging you to know where you stand with yourself and where you are. There's just a lot of, I guess recalibration is a good word, or reevaluation of where we are. So this can be just an aggravating time because sometimes we have to dig through our own psyche and our own being, and it can be a little dark night of the soul-ish. Not to say that it has to be that way, but just knowing that it's going to get kind of intense, and just holding your frequency and holding your light is really important right now.
Describe intense. If you would describe intense, you said it's going to be intense. What do you mean by intense?
Sure. By intensity, I mean increased synchronicity. So you might start seeing repeating numbers. So maybe 111, 333, the 555. So increased synchronicity with numbers, symbols. I do sense a lot of dream work happening and increasing from now until mid-September. So just really pay attention to the dreams. So you might have, people visiting you, beings visiting you, if you're ready for it. Only benevolent beings will visit you when you're ready for it. Just a heads up. I do know that there will be more galactic people on the earth, both interdimensionally and just walking amongst us. A lot of them are humanoid, and the Lyran-Sirian Council was talking about how it's important to be embracing that aspect of ourselves so that we can work with them. Galactic beings, benevolent galactic beings, they don't intervene because that would be a negation of our will. So calling upon them and asking them for assistance is important, so that we can get the information, we can do the work, but they're not going to negate our will, so we have to ask. That's one aspect to this. And then they're also saying that there's going to be people who are having increased downloads and or channelings. So again, paying attention to your process, paying attention to your dreams, because a lot of downloads come through dreams. And by downloads, I just mean maybe seemingly random information, but really holds a lot of meaning, because you can feel it, because there's an energy behind it. So just document your process and be hyper aware of it. But the reason why there's a lot of downloads coming is because they're giving us the information, they're feeding us the information so that, everyone here who lives on Earth is an ambassador for the planet so that they can do the work and carry out the mission for the greater good of the universe. So just being very aware of what's going on. So that's what I mean by intense. A lot going on cosmically. There's a lot shifting on our planet right now, and just being in our love and light so that we can have the most graceful experience. Also, it's a time of self-study. So if there's a particular subject, they said that you are looking to study. They are saying that collectively people are really being encouraged to look at these subjects and get into them, read books, watch videos, and really educate yourself. So I know that seems kind of general, but there's like a very increased potency and increased energy behind this right now, because it's just going to continue to ramp up. Post September, I don't think things are going to quiet down. But they just wanted me to look at that specific window of time because they're like, that's what we need to focus on now. And then we'll talk about the rest later. Full moon in Capricorn, July 1st, peaking at 7:30 Pacific Standard Time. So that might be 10:30 Eastern Time if you're interested in viewing the full moon. And then we have the Venus conjunct Jupiter on the 30th, which is tomorrow.
I'm glad you brought that up. Awesome.
Hasn't happened for 2,000 years, so very important to pay attention to.
Let me ask you this real quick. From the chat room, Neutron wants to ask a question. His question is, can Vanessa tell us any signals from Arcturus? And I said, what do you mean by signals? He said message. Is there a message that you can tap into the Arcturians in this moment, or even impression, whatever it is you feel, anything they would bring forth via Neutron's asking?
I'm so happy they brought up the Arcturians. I kind of forget about them because they're a collective that I don't work with as often as the Andromedans, Lyran-Sirians, and so forth. But actually, last week I was working with the Arcturians, and their main message was knowing that we're all soul architects and like building the life that we want, and knowing that like we're building the astral lives and the etheric lives. Like it's already created out there in the upper dimensions, and it's really about grounding and bringing it down. So their focus last week and their messages were about grounding and being very present in the body. So like getting into the physical body, taking care of your health, your diet, getting, high cardio in and under weightlifting if you're called to do that. But it's like really getting into your physical body and grounding the frequencies in the body. I love Arcturians because they're very knowledge-based. They're kind of like librarians in a lot of ways because they hold so much information. So if anybody is interested in like tapping in, they're kind of like the Akashic records, but it's different. But they hold a lot of information, a lot of libraries. So if you're interested, ask the Arcturians to come forward to give you the information, because they're very bookwormish and they're healers. So they'll give you the information. There's an increased amount of Arcturians on the planet right this minute. So I feel like that's a synchronicity for the question. So thank you for asking, because it's like
fantastic. I already know the answer to a degree, but I want to ask you how it feels to you, which way would be more true. I think they're probably both true. These beings that you're in contact with, Arcturians, the council, is it more from the perspective that they're helping because they love us and want to see us expand? Or is it because what we do helps them expand? And I'm sure both are true, but I mean, because they're already, quote, there where we want to be. But does it help in their expansion as well?
I would say yes. Definitely both are true. You're 100% correct there. The biggest mission of the star people and why they're contacting, I get asked this all the time. Why do they contact us if they could do it themselves? If they're so advanced, why don't they just do it themselves? And what's really important to realize is that Earth is a very unique place to be incarnated. We have a lot of very unique conditions, and it's very, very special to be incarnated here. So everyone that lives on Earth that's listening to this, you're very, very special. So know that. Why they're contacting us and giving us information is because we kind of are the missing piece in a lot of ways. Not to say we're the only one and that we're like the chosen people, but because I know that they are working with other galaxies and other systems to do similar things. You know, all of the groups are working together right now. But Earth holds a specific frequency, and by coming together in light and love and, you know, raising the frequencies together, we can provide that missing puzzle piece and continue to expand. So it's expansion on our part. It's expansion for all of the other collectives, and for the universe. It's just about bringing in more love and actually getting closer to source, whatever that is for each of you, because I know that we can get into different religions and different doctrines and ideas, but it's really about going back to source and, you know, being in that space, in that bliss space. So Earth holds that special key, and by helping us, we're helping them, and vice versa.
You know, yeah, the idea that what we do could help them expand to greater levels. It's like, well, if they're already there, they definitely can do this without us. But, you know, is there possibly greater levels of bliss to be obtained? Absolutely. You know, God is infinite, so there are many, it's infinite. The degrees, I wouldn't say necessarily levels, it's be a right word, but degrees of bliss, they would have to be endless. And coming from my bestseller, The Divine Principle, that particular work says that Earth is so special that we are a star. Literally, the planet is a star, and I don't mean like in the form of a celestial planetary system, but it's a star as in like Hollywood. The entire gaze is on us and what we do, not only for ourselves, because this place is an experiment. You know, all these coming together of these different races of being throughout the galaxies with RNA, DNA, they, quote, made the human species, but they want to find out what we're doing, how we're doing it, how it's working, how other civilizations can expand from what we do with all this, but also the fact that all beings in the universe can aspire to humanhood. And there is a long line for souls waiting to be born. But it is only through human birth that God can be fully realized. Now, this is not saying that all these cosmic beings, all these galactic beings, all these different energies, be it whatever particular galactic civilization it may be, this is not saying they're like many rungs up on the spiritual ladder in consciousness. But that it is only through human birth that divine realization can happen. So, you know, while we're here, we might as well give it the best shot that we have.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I think that it's most important to realize that being in our humanity and our bliss, whatever that means for each of you, is it is the mission of everyone here. What it looks like is different for everybody. But taking a very integrated and balanced view is like, well, because a lot of starseeds will be completely left wing, and they'll get very, very excited by the cosmic aspect and psychic ability and telepathy and all of these superhuman or quote unquote superhuman capabilities. And what I think a lot of people fail to realize is that actually accessing all of that, accessing the universe that is you, accessing yourself and the universe, YOUNIVERSE, is that we're called to be in our humanity and be balanced. And And it's accessing that state that we're able to do everything. So the biggest thing that we can do is be who we're meant to be, which is authentic, we were born to be, and follow, and just continuously follow that with every single thing that we do. It's all frequency. So, if today you choose to be authentic, you're going to get more authenticity, more authentic opportunities, and you're going to constantly send that out as you are also receiving it. And it's just going to be this awesome cycle. And then it's all about, the other thing to that is that it's all about choice. So should you choose to maybe take an experience or opportunity that's not so authentic to you, then maybe you're going to continuously get more of that. So it's just more incentive just to be in your complete bliss and your authenticity. And we can go into law of attraction, but that'll take a long time. But just the very basic, you get what you put out of it. My dad told me that a long time ago. I don't think he was thinking about frequencies and law of attraction, but to me, it's really simple. With everything that you do, if you can stay in that state, you're going to get more of it.
We've got about 15 minutes left to Center of Light Radio for today. Every Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, you can bet I have the most phenomenal guests. And today just proves that. If you want to call into the show, we still have a few minutes left. 888-919-2355, 888-919-2355. My guest is Vanessa Lamorte. Vanessa, let me ask you, does all these cosmic beings, do they talk to each other? I mean, okay, you're in touch with the Lyrians and the Sirians and, and all these different galactic forms. Are they aware that that one is talking to you and that one is talking to you? And do they ever converse among themselves? Are you able to eavesdrop and hear them dialoguing? I mean, how does that work from your perspective of being a channel that's wide open to the cosmic language?
Absolutely. So I have a lot of ship visitation and bilocation experiences. So the Lyran-Sirian Council has its own ship, and we have a lot of visitors, like good visitors. So sometimes we're hosting different Andromedan peoples. The collective, the council itself, is very diverse. So we do have, they call it the Lyran-Sirian Council because the ship actually, bounces between Lyra and Sirius. And there's a lot of Lyrans and Sirians on the council. But we also have Andromedans and Pleiadians and Arcturians. So it's very comprehensive and global. They are aware of, the multiple beings that are speaking with me, and I would venture to say that this goes into the information about Galactic Federation and the greater, I guess, collective. I would say the Galactic Federation is just a very general term for all of the star people and civilizations that are working for benevolence, and they understand that it's a very it's kind of like just becoming a big melting pot. Everything's just coming together and everyone's talking to each other, and it doesn't really matter. I distinguish it because it's easy for me to distinguish, okay, this one comes from Sirius and this comes from here, but it really is, it's all the same in its own way. It's all a fractal. So it's like, it's all representative of the whole. It just has a different flavor, I guess. So that's why I use the different terms.
I want to ask you the same question and again differently. And I mean it sincerely. I don't mean to flip it at all. As above, so below. We have Facebook. There is a stream, and everyone is able to see that stream, and everyone is able to participate. If as above, so below, is there a cosmic Facebook? Meaning, is there a conscious, well, there is, but in the sense that I'm asking a question, is there a stream that you are able, meaning you because you have the ability, not that everyone doesn't have it, yours is just an active. Is there a cosmic stream that when you want to play in a cosmic Facebook that you can just shift your awareness through simple intention or will and just pick up frequencies and energies and information and conversations? I mean, is that how it is for you somewhat to some degree?
It really is. I call it data streaming. So it's a little, I guess, it is just as simple as Facebook, but just reminding yourself and keeping in mind that what is integrity for you and discernment, because just like on Facebook, you can see wonderful quotes and messages and inspirations from your friends. And then you can also see really not so nice messages and things that come through that data stream. So basically, yeah, my channel works just like Facebook, I guess, if you want to put it that way. I never thought of it like that. But yeah, it works like that, where, I can glean what I need from any council, and I can tune in wherever I need to. But I'm careful to say this because I want people to have a very safe experience, because you can tap into other energies that maybe wouldn't be in your highest and best interest. So just ask your guides and the universe to give you what's in your highest and best interest, and what's in integrity for you, and just use discernment with it. But yeah, it's very accessible. And as we go through this time period from now until September, the veils and the dimensions are going to becoming very thin, and the dimensions are a lot easier to access right now. I wanted to mention really quickly the bee people and bee medicine, and how important it is to really not spray pesticides both on Earth, because the bees here actually have their galactic and interdimensional collectives out there. So not that we're killing the collective ones, but we need them on Earth. So it's important to just be aware of how you're getting your produce too. That's why I eat organic. I know it's expensive sometimes for some people, but just an idea to have in your mind, because bees are actually the interdimensional gatekeepers, and they do the pollinating both on a cosmic level and on a very earthly level. So they're very instrumental for both, and it's really the same thing, but for both ideas or concepts and access points. But psychic ability is very, very, it's a very intrinsic process. My best advice to anyone who's interested in increasing their intuition is to be open to yourself, because it really starts from the self. So just be open and aware of your body and what's going on a very personal level, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, how your body feels, being in your body. And then from there, everything else is very simple, actually. Everything else expands. But if you know what you're thinking and you know how you're feeling, then you can expand that and know how other people are thinking and feeling, and gaining information beyond yourself.
Again, question from the chat room from Neutron. Does Vanessa get a certain short physical feeling just before receiving a message from the collective?
I guess that I'm not sure what short means. Sometimes I'll explain two things that sometimes I feel. Sometimes when specific beings come in, I experience like the frequencies of their being like next to me, and it feels short, like in stature. So maybe it feels like 2 to 3 feet tall, and that would give me an indication of like the being coming in. So if you mean short as far as like electrical short, sometimes it does feel like a short or a surge of energy. So both, but it just brings different awareness. Sometimes it's about a being and in the specific being that wants to speak, that's coming forward. Sometimes it's just a surge of energy. What's important, I think, to talk about really quickly too is the frequencies and buzzing and vibrations that happen in the ears with galactic energy.
Yeah, so, right.
If you're getting buzzing, a lot of times people get in the left ear. I've noticed through my research and talking to people, it's the left ear.
The spiritual ear.
But it can be both. Yeah,
it's
it can be both. Ear. Absolutely. But it's like buzzing or frequencies or beeping. And it happens, you can feel it. It's different. It's different than hearing something outside yourself. It's happening on an inner ear level. It's not tinnitus, I think is the word. So it's not just ringing in the ear. It's like a specific frequency shift. And sometimes it's like boop, 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 boop. Sometimes it'll just toggle between sounds. So again, that hyper awareness of the body and the self will help give you information about the ringing in your ear as well. So then, that's why I said it's just pretty easy from there if you have the self-awareness.
Neutron, just to give you an idea, when I was channeling for 8 years the Divine Principle, the information for me was very, very high. It was none like I've experienced in my life, at least to that point. And when I would go into these channeling modalities to recite into a tape recorder the raw data, that was going to form the divine principle, I would go into crying spells probably for like a minute, sometimes a little longer. It's because my body had no idea what to do with this energy and this information. It was so new to me, and because it felt kind of stuffed and bloated, to use a word, I had to cry it out. I had to burn it off, and it was the only way that I could get comfortable. In fact, the crying spells were beyond my own will. They would just take over me and happen. Once again, from the chat room, I would like to ask you a question from Kali. She wants to know, is there a connection between the elementals and galactic beings? Perhaps it's just a thin veil.
Very good question. I would say yes. Because there are elemental beings both on Earth, on ships, on Pegasus. I've seen some on Orion. They're just a different frequency, and they have a different mission than maybe other galactic groups. So thinking about the thin veil on Earth and accessing them, that's actually a very interesting access point that you could practice with psychic development and intuition, which I actually use in a lot of my courses as well. As just getting out in nature and talking to trees, or plant communication. Those are elementals. You're accessing the elemental realm that way. So there's that aspect in psychic development, the thin veil that you're able to move between, because we're here. It's accessible. And everything else is accessible too. It's just a frequency shift. But I think that maybe just more refined, what I'm trying to say is that the elementals are and the bees are like a gateway. They're the gatekeepers. So they hold the keys to veil, not communication, but being able to move between dimensions and things. So I hope that answers her question.
Kali, also know this. My friend Nucleus 8, alien human hybrid I hung out with for 4 years. He's the real deal. Grabs my hand in waking states of consciousness, yanks me out of my body, brings me into his planetary station mothership to 27,000 whatever light years away. I had an experience with him a few months ago, fully conscious aboard his craft. And not only do the elementals and the cosmic beings overlap or somewhat, they actually hang out together, because when I was on Nucleus 8's ship toward the end of this very full-blown conscious experience, I met two fairies, and one was there. Her name was Halo, and she began to wave her arms through my energy, and I asked her what she was doing, and she was saying she was cleaning up some of the negativity that I had collected. In fact, she said, "I'm making you clear." Yes, very much so. These two dimensional frequencies, they do somewhat overlap, and they're actually able to play with each other, to use a word. So they do hang out. Vanessa, I really appreciate and just delighted and in awe and humbled by your presence here on Center of Light Radio today. Two things. Would you leave us with a closing message for the listening audience? And would you also leave us with another tidbit of light language? That would just be so awesome for me.
Sure. Let's start with the light language. So specifically, I'm already getting that this is coming from Camelopardalis, the giraffe/camel constellation. Actually, the message that came through that, which is very interesting to me, and almost seemingly random, but this is for everyone listening, is to be aware of the jewelry that you're wearing and the metals that you are interacting with. So like silver and gold, like wearing silver and gold. So they were saying like wear silver and gold, because like the frequencies in the silver and the gold are going to help these people get what they need, whatever that may be. And then just being aware of like other metals like in the body, maybe through what you're eating, and detoxing heavy metals. So it was all about metal and using metal wisely for your own inner alchemical process.
Oh, that was just lovely. I absolutely enjoyed that. I did. And I'll take that as your final thought. Vanessa, I want to say thank you. If you would please announce your contact information once again for the Center of Light Radio listening audience.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me again. My website is www.vanessalamorte.com. And my Instagram is at Vanessa Lamorte. So you can follow me there as well as on Facebook.
That door always swings open to you, girl.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me here. It's been a lot of fun.
Please come back. Chat soon.
All right. Bye.
Everyone, Vanessa Lamorte here on the Center of Light Radio. Wow, what a fantastic show. I really dig that cosmic stuff. It's just who I am, and she seems to be a little more fluent in that field. It's kind of like these experiences happen to me when I sleep, and also in waking states of consciousness. But it's like that is definitely her conscious path for sure, and she just busted me wide open today. I really, really dug that show. Make sure that you come back to Center of Light Radio every Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Also go to centeroflightradio.com, KeithAnthonyBlanchard.com for all that cool stuff that I do. Let's see. And I want to close with the show with something that I wrote yesterday, and I put it on social media. And this kind of echoes what Vanessa was talking about when she was giving the definition of universe. God is omnipresent in all places at all times. The light. Light is everywhere. The whole is imbued in every fragment throughout the universe. Una means one, and verse means song. Everything is one song sung by the angels calling out to all listening hearts to join in the universal chorus. It is all the same, as above, so below. All there is God, loving light. Fear is the illusion that blinds one from the truth of ever seeing and being that. Center of Light Radio, Keith Anthony Blanchard here. Thanks for joining. I look forward to you coming back next Monday. Help me grow my Center of Light family, your Center of Light family, a highway, super highway for love and light information to change this world that we're living in. As our contribution, remember when you lay down that night and you have nothing to do, you might as well do something. And that something could be breathing. You might say, well, Keith, I breathe already. Well, yes, you do. But now you're conscious of it. And that changes the ball game completely. And you taste that breath. You're grateful for that breath. That breath tastes like God. That's the place you breathe from, that inner space. When you do that, you will connect to the authentic you, the real you, the you that never left home. And your life will change to even greater degrees. Every Monday night, Keith Anthony Blanchard here.